And then so we've also found out that there were complaints about hidden cameras being brought into precincts and stuff, like when they're supposed to dress in and dress out or do whatever they do in the locker room. So there's supposed to be locker rooms. And so when you ignore that fact and you don't give the information that, okay, we know for sure that on the dark web we found camera footage of these type of incidents. That's where my team comes in. You know what I mean? That's where we come in and be like, okay, we're gonna identify the person that's putting in the cameras and stuff like that. So you guys want to go into sexual harassment and exploitation, but several of your departments had complaints about exploitation on your own, like saying like, "Oh, I know on this dark website, da da da." But how did you know that anyways? Except for you, the person. And then like all of a sudden, like the whole department's like, "Oh my God!" Like, "Oh, we didn't know," and but you did know. So now all of a sudden we can dress in and dress out. I don't know if I really buy the bullshit. Especially when these exploitation sites were put out there and then they weren't given to FBI, Homeland Security, and then CIA. You know, that's why you bring in CIA to bring intelligence. You know what I mean, and to come in and investigate the whole thing, and then bring in there like they get a cop hired and da da da, see what's going on, and so it's kind of like you're kind of like bullshitting us, you know, saying like, oh well, we know we've been exploited. Well, how did I mean? You never turned in that intelligence to anybody, and so I'm trying to have your back right now, trying to see like why you're not doing what you're doing, and then we have these complaints like, oh well, we were exploited, and then we're being sexually harassed, and then this all this shit. Like, I don't know if I really buy it that much. Especially when I get here in the car, like, well, your inventory might be in the back of a cop car. Like, it happens. I don't know if I buy the bullshit anymore. So we run these simulations and we see what happens, and it happens, and then we're like, okay, this is gonna happen a billion places, a million places, and we have a problem. And I know, for instance, like here, there was an incident in the fire department, and then there was an incident in uh, in the police department, and they keep trying to bullshit us and bullshit about it, and it's like, so when I found out about it, it was like, I think they're watching you in like the private areas of like the fire department or maybe the police containment facility, where you guys go in and go in and out, and I'm trying to get intelligence, and it's like I'm pretty sure like I know what your facility looks like, and we had them back doors and be like, oh well, okay, we don't really give a fuck as long as they pay us off. I don't think like we're going to say that's okay. We want to know who works for you and why do you keep bringing people in and out, like you're training new people and you're drawing people in work and telling. I don't know if I really buy you anymore. I think you're full of shit. And so we come into circumstances like this all the time, and that's why it's so important for them to say like, okay, we're gonna hire Nick on. So for each department, because that means you're gonna go ahead with audit. You know what I mean? Like we have to audit you, and then it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's like, you know, have you ever thought like, you know, you were dressing in and out, or like maybe you were using a facility to like, you know, do whatever. Maybe you come to work dressed in, and then maybe you don't, and then maybe there's paranoia about it. But I wouldn't really see why you would have paranoia about it when NFL, you know what I mean, and you know, sports athletes dress in, dress out all the time around each other. So why are you any different? I just call bullshit. Like it just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. Like we're all grown ups. Like You're around people stripping down all the time when you detain them. Like, it just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's like you're so forgotty, you know what I mean, or forgady about certain things, and it's like I'm just not sure anymore. Like, we're just not sure. We're just calling bullshit, and it's like, it's just we don't know anymore. It's to the point where you need to say, instead of a person of interest, we're gonna hire you. Don't use the term person of interest for anybody. Say we're gonna hire you on, criminal or non-criminal, so we get more intel. And that's all we're telling you. Stop using the person of interest term, because we're just not buying your bullshit no more. If you criminally, bought criminals out, say there's informants, we don't use informants at all. We put people undercover. So that's bullshit, criminally wise. And then you don't use a person of interest on the civilian wise, because that's kind of like Emancipation Proclamation. Like, you're enslaving somebody for what we don't even know. Like, you're imprisoning somebody. So you're going against like several like things in the United States right now, and then so you're gonna use the terms. We're gonna hire Nicholas Robertson on in his team, and we're not gonna take that any other way. And if you use anything besides those terms, we're gonna go ahead and say we think you're contaminated.